Okay, everybody. So I'm Debbie. I'm an executive consultant, and I am running a series of trainings. And our first training is going to be with executive consultant Jon Drew. Jon fast tracked to SC, senior consultant and EC. Yay. He's a 5-star winner. He has his own podcast, and he's a great friend and a great guy. So let's turn our attention over to Jon.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's doing well. I am super pumped to be here. Before my life in Ambit started about just under 2 years ago now, when I really started working the business. I was a certified public accountant, and so numbers are kind of my thing, and I get a little bit nerded out and excited for anytime I get to actually talk about the compensation plan. So I'm going to take you guys through a few different things today. I've got pretty cool stuff lined up. I promise I won't bore you for 2 hours straight going through numbers, but we'll get through the stuff that I think everyone needs to know to really start making your impact in this business, and to be able to make, I think the most important part, when we're talking about compensation, is so you can make smart business decisions. As a lot of you probably know by now, when you start making money in this business, one of the hardest things to do is to figure out how to reinvest it to make more money, right? You got to spend money to make money sometimes. And understanding the compensation plan has probably been one of, I would say, the 3 most important things I've done since starting my business, because I can, knowing in the back of my head exactly what my bonus is going to be, depending on where things are in my organization, what the residual is, kind of having a good, let's say, barometer for where things are going. It allows me to make decisions. It allowed me to kind of chip out that extra money that I was able to use to get a lot of the coaching and the development, the things that have really started to blow up my business, especially in the last few months. And I'll share a little bit of that with you all at the end too. But without further ado, let's just jump in. I want to talk first, obviously, about how we get paid and really demystify the compensation plan that I know stresses a lot of people out. And I want to try to simplify this as much as possible. And that's not always easy for me. I have a tendency to overcomplicate things. So at the end, I'll take questions. I'm going to try my best to kind of keep this as simple as possible. And really, when you think about the Ambit Energy Compensation Plan, I want you to just honestly think about 2 things. That's why I called it 2 lanes of pay. And the first part is obviously the weekly bonuses, right? This is kind of the bread and butter, especially when you're starting in Ambit. And those weekly bonuses, the ones that get paid really by one repeating act that we all do over and over again, right? We all started our business by signing up, right? We paid our $100 or, whatever it was at the time that you joined. And we initially had to, when I started the business, I had to do what we all do. And I paid my entry fee, and I had to go and I had to get my first bonus, my jumpstart bonus. And at the time, I obviously didn't understand the full compensation plan, but what I didn't realize was that I was really repeating the same thing I'd be doing nonstop for pretty much the rest of my career in Ambit. And that's joining the business and getting a few customers. Of course, after I got my own bonus, then what I had to do is help other people do the same thing. And that's really, when you break it down, our weekly bonus pay, that's all it revolves around, is just introducing the business to new business partners and doing everything in our power to work with them to help them get their first few customers. And that triggers bonuses, not only for them so they can become profitable in their business, but also for all of us as leaders in the business. And that's what's so important. And obviously the second part, and I would say kind of the long-term play, and why I know probably a lot of you joined Ambit in the first place, is the residual monthly income. And that's what we earn every single time one of the customers inside of our organization pays their utility bill each month. This is the thing that drew me into Ambit. I don't know how much the rest of you really have checked out maybe other opportunities in the past, but I've looked at some. And one of the things that really, really got me excited about Ambit was the difference between residual income based off of paying a utility bill every month versus the way most other network marketing or multi-level organizations, whatever you want to call it, the way they're set up. A lot of times in other opportunities, you have to keep selling a product over and over again, right? You can lose a customer a lot of ways. They can decide they don't want your product anymore. They can decide to go with a competitor. Whatever the case may be. With Ambit, what I think is amazing is we never, ever lose customers because they don't want our product anymore, right? Everyone has electricity. I don't know anyone who doesn't. So truly, you really have the opportunity to get anybody possibly to be a customer. So can you lose them to a competitor? Sure. But the main way that people lose customers out there in business is by actually having them no longer want the product. And in our case, that's not going to happen. And that's why the monthly residual was so exciting to me in this business, because it's so sticky, for lack of better words. And over time, I can tell you, because I'm experiencing it right now, and it's exciting every day, you get that momentum building, and that residual really will build, and it really will change your life. So I want to go through these kind of one at a time. Let's just separate it here. Let's start by just talking about the weekly bonus structure. I actually laid out a couple slides myself. Ambit obviously gives us some good stuff, and I modeled this off of there. I think you could show to a new consultant that would help them in the business. And the way that the weekly bonus structure works, as I kind of alluded to, we have, and this is kind of right off the flyer, we're paid a commission, and that's when a new member joins our team and they get credit for at least 3 other market customers in their first 28 days. This presentation, I'm going to focus on just other market instead of Texas. Obviously, with Texas, there's subtle differences in the pay and how many customers are required, but the concepts are all the same. So don't stress about that. If you're in the Texas market, you can very easily take what I teach today and apply it to that compensation plan. It's truly just a difference in actual payouts and how many customers are required. In this example, I'm also going to assume that the new consultant has their website turned on, right? When you have your website turned on, that automatically gives you 2 customer points. And so when I refer to things on here and I see it and I say at least 3 other market customers, that equates to 5 points, right? So every example I give you, I'm going to assume that the consultant that we're helping get their first few customers has their website turned on, because I think that sometimes gets confusing otherwise when people are talking 3 customers and then you're saying 5 points. So I want to kind of separate those two. And so when we do actually help that person get their first few customers, and I notice I say help because it should be a team effort. The new consultant, along with the upline, the leadership, whatever you want to call it, should be working really hard to get these first 3 customers here. And when that happens, this is our written compensation plan right here, meaning like our minimum bonus payouts that we're guaranteed to get. And if that all happens within the first 28 days, there's going to be the following payouts. So the new consultant that joined, they're going to earn what's called their Jumpstart 1 bonus. So I want you all to remember something. When a Jumpstart 1 bonus happens, something else happens simultaneously. They always happen at the same time. When the Jumpstart 1 happens, a team builder bonus happens. There's really no difference between the two. Jumpstart is for the brand new consultant earning their first bonus. The team builder bonus are for the existing consultants that have already been in the business. I get a lot of questions on that, and I know it's kind of, for a lot of you that have been doing this for a while, that might seem really elementary, but I have a lot of new consultants ask me that, like, what's the difference between my Jumpstart pay and the difference between my team builder pay? And so on the team builder bonus, then when the new consultant earns that first Jumpstart, here are the payouts and here's how they go. And one of the things I love about Ambit, we reward everybody involved. It's not just money flowing upline always. You notice, look at the largest bonus on the whole page. The largest bonus actually goes to the person who sponsored the new consultant and the new consultant themselves. So notice like the national or the executive doesn't get the biggest bonus. The actual people out there kind of making the introductions, building the business, they get the largest part of the payout. The remaining portion is paid out to the upline at $55 for the regional, $80 for the senior, $80 for the executive, and $25 for the national. What's important to understand here is as you rank up and rank advance, which we're going to talk about later in this, you are able to earn more than just one of these leadership codes. So for example, as an executive consultant right now, if I was to sponsor someone, I'll just use Debbie as an example, even though she's an executive. So if I sponsored her into my business right now, that'd be great for my business for one, but for two, I would be able to earn multiple ranks. And so because I'm an executive consultant, I would actually earn the executive, the senior, and the regional pay. Everything from my rank down. And so it's okay if that doesn't make a ton of sense right now, but it will as we go through the presentation. And so you're not only earning one of those leadership codes, as we call them so often. You can earn multiple depending on what your rank is and how people are positioned in your organization. And so that concept might be better set for a more advanced training, but I wanted to at least introduce it here so that you understand that the income numbers are actually even bigger than they look on paper. Now, Ambit gives us a way, at least ever since I've been in the business. And so I want you all to take this with a little bit of a grain of salt because none of this is guaranteed, but this is what's coming in every month on that flyer that we see. And I'll show one of those on the next slide. but this is the way that we can actually multiply these bonuses. That's what makes it so exciting. And so the way I wrote this slide today is based off of the current promotion. The current promotion, which we'll look at in a minute, requires, instead of those 3 customers that I mentioned in the previous slide, let's say you're able to now help your new consultant get 5 in those first 28 days. Well, those second 2 customers produce another bonus. So it doubles the bonus if you're able to get 5 customers. And notice it doubles it for everybody, not just the sponsor and the new consultant, but all the upline leaders as well. So that incentivizes everyone to work and make that happen. So I know in my team, and I'm sure all of yours too, our goal is to get the maximum bonus on everything we can, whether it's a 150% bonus like some months or 200% bonus like it is right now, which is awesome. We're trying to maximize that, trying to get everyone the biggest bang for their buck possible. And this is where it gets really exciting. I mean, look at that total payout. I mean, for 5 customers between all these different positions here, there's a total of $880 being paid out. And that doesn't even count the residual we're going to get into. So if you want to know if this is a really lucrative industry, I can tell you it is. I've looked around quite a bit. And so to actually dive in on the flyer itself, this is right from PowerZone. You can see how they spell it out. And so for this particular month, not only do you have to have the 7 points, so again, 5 customers plus the website for 2, that equals the 7, but also every single person that wants to earn the double bonus has to be registered for our conference. And so the way that would work right now, any one of these different positions that didn't have a ticket, they would just get the standardized bonus, so 1/2 the amount. But under this promotion, it doesn't affect anybody else. And so like if the new consultant didn't have it, they'd get 100, but everybody else would get their amount. So right now, that's why I'm encouraging everyone on my team to get a ticket and be able to earn these extra bonuses, not to mention actually attend the conference when it comes to routes. So kind of a double whammy. And if you want a little bit of, I guess, math to help with that too, it's much better for your new consultants to buy the ticket before you help them trigger their first bonus. Because if they get this promotional bonus, it'll actually help pay for the cost of the ticket. Whereas, if you end up helping them get 5 customers anyways, and they don't get the double bonus, and then let's say 2 weeks later, they decide to go get the ticket, they're paying for that ticket fully out of pocket. Versus if they do it up front, they can use that extra bonus money to pay for the bulk of it. So again, just something to keep in mind, like a little a tidbit. And that's something I've been telling new consultants coming in if they're uneasy, about wanting to get started and actually get that ticket. I've been really pushing that, trying to make that work. And so, of course, as you're working the business, you don't want to stop. Let's just back up for a second. You don't want to stop here, right? You don't want to just get this pay. You want to start earning all the juicy pay at these levels, right? Well, in order to do that, there's certain metrics you have to hit inside your organization. The first one, and you'll hear this talked about a ton in Ambit, they use the acronym 526 all the time. And it's been proven. I mean, it's been proven to work to help people get promoted, get them a pay raise, get their excitement up about the business, and then watch them build. And the way that you get to the first rank in Ambit Energy called Regional Consultant, it's shown there as RC on the screen. You have to have 5 personal customers. Again, this is personal customer points. So think 3 customers and your website minimum. Well, that should be no problem, right? Because we all wanted to earn our first bonus. So everyone should have this within their first, I challenge everyone to have it within their first few days, but you should at least have it within your first 28 days because you want to earn your initial investment back for joining the business through your jumpstart bonus that we talked about earlier. Well, from there, that's when your leaders start teaching you, the system and the team for actually bringing on new team members. And you'll have to personally sponsor in your organization at least 2 other consultants. Personally sponsor meaning they have to go right through your website and sign up directly under you. And then you have to build that team down to a total size of 6. And so here's another thing that people, I think, have a misunderstanding about. There's a lot of ways you can do this. Just because it says 2 personally sponsored does not mean you can't sponsor all 6 yourself. For me personally, I think I sponsored 5 of them, and then one of them put one person in, and I think that's what did it for me. I know a lot of people, they're in a hurry. They just want to get it done. So they just go out and get 6 people and just hustle and get it done. And I definitely encourage that. I teach everyone to promote as fast as possible. And we'll get to that towards the end of the presentation. That's the first promotion rank. I really focus heavily on this. The faster I find that people get to this rank, the faster they really springboard their business. And I truly believe this is the second most important promotion in all of Ambit. And that leads me to, in my opinion, and I know some people disagree on this, but again, take it with a grain of salt. But me personally, this, I think, right here is the most important promotion in Ambit Energy, because this is really when the comp plan starts working hard for you, when the leverage really starts to be in your favor. And that's the second rank inside of Ambit called Senior Consultant. And so let's pause for a second and let's talk about what it means to really rank up and how that affects your existing business. Because this is the thing that people come to me the most often and are completely confused. I have people asking me this question almost on a daily basis now that my team is pretty big and we have a lot of new people coming in. And they say, well, what happens to the people that were in my regional team when I hit senior? Okay. The answer is nothing changes. This is an important thing. Take out a pencil, write this down, whatever you have to do if you don't know this yet. The Ambit Energy compensation plan, it does not look backwards. So when you promote, the things that you have done before you promoted, nothing changes. And so if someone signed up with you when you're a regional consultant, it doesn't matter if somehow miraculously tomorrow you wake up national. Your relationship with them will still be you as the regional consultant, and they will still have a different senior, a different executive, a different national. And so where does the strategy side of this come into play? Well, here's a really easy way to think about it. Let's say you bumped into someone on the street. You bump into somebody like a Debbie Gardner, and that they're going to be just a beast at this business. They're super excited. They have 1 million contacts in every one of our open states, right? And you happen to be one customer away from hitting senior. My advice to you would be hit the ground running and figure out a way the next 30 minutes to get a customer and promote to senior. Because when you sign that person up, that A+ prospect you just got, if you sign them up when you're one customer away from senior, then you don't get points for being close. They're in your regional team and they'll never be in your senior team. And so understand that there's a fine line between, you don't want to make people wait. If people are excited, I would highly suggest not making them wait for you to promote. I've seen people lose consultants that way. But if it's something truly like you're one customer away, just go out and get it done. Do whatever you got to do to get it done. Call your upline, better yet, just go out to your neighbors, whoever you can, and just grab somebody to actually get you to that next promotion. So hope that makes sense, because that is a very cornerstone component of our compensation plan. And so now, how do you actually get to senior, right? Well, now that you've hit regional, everything starts over. So every team or every time you rank advance, it's like building a brand new team again. Your other teams are still there. They're going to build you. They're still going to build your income. They're still going to build your residual that I'll show you later. But for all intents and purposes, you have a brand new team you're starting. And so to get to senior consultant, you've just promoted to regional, and now you have to do another equation. Well, now you got to have 10 personal customer points. Well, the good news is if you got that first promotional bonus that I talked about, that would have you at 7 already. Maybe you went even higher, if you wanted the free energy. But I'm not going to talk about that during this presentation. But if you wanted to have free energy and have 15 customers under you, you might have 17 points already from that, right? Great. Well, you're set for senior there. But now the harder part. You got to once again personally sponsor at least 2 people. And so you personally sponsor 2, and then that team, through you helping teach them and duplicating and all that good stuff, running through the proven system, you have to build that out to at least a total team of 18. And remember, they have to be an 18. It has to be a team of 18 that's inside of your senior organization. So those people out there that are running in your regional team and your marketing consultant team, those do not count towards your 18. So you got to kind of rebuild. And what I usually see for this, you guys, again, I rarely see people get all the way to this with only personally sponsoring 2. If you can, great. That means you're really good at training and getting people to duplicate. But for most people that really hustled there, I'm sure if you ask Debbie, if you ask me, I sponsored at least half the people myself. And a lot of the people I did sponsor ended up doing the business after. I just didn't wait around for them to get started and start their duplication. I just wanted to run and I wanted to get there. And that's why I really encourage people to fast track. The fast track, Ambit will give you an award if you fast track to regional within 30 days. I really push that one. I think that everyone's capable of doing that if they really put their mind to it. I've seen people, I don't want to discourage anybody because everyone moves at a different pace, right? We all have different goals and different time into the business, but I have seen people promote to regional in 48 hours. And so there are things that are really possible. I know there's a couple people in this room that really promoted quickly to senior as well. And they give you an award for senior if you do that in less than 90 days. And so that's my challenge. If any of you in here are very new, when you started, try to hit both of those fast tracks, both those fast track promotions. And so those are the 2 I really want to focus on today. I'll give you, the idea for executive and national, which I know is everyone's end game goal. And so when I say that I think senior is the most important and regional is the second most important promotion in Ambit, I don't want to downplay getting to executive national, right? I know that's everyone's goal, but those things take time, and you can't do it by just blunt force alone. You really have to kind of figure out your team, your plan. But I'm telling you right now, senior consultant is a very lucrative position to be in. There is six-figure earning potential at senior consultant. It's a very exciting place to be. And if you're at senior for a while, believe me, there's a lot you can do there as you kind of build your skills and prepare to become an executive afterwards. But to actually reach executive, again, you'd have to start a new team in senior, and you have to help now. No, it's no longer about numbers alone. Now you have to help at least 5 people inside of that new senior team hit senior themselves. One of my favorite things about this company, when people out there bash on network marketing, which I'm sure you've all come across that negativity, and people say, you know, it's all about the person at the top getting paid, and you know, the little guys don't win and no one makes money. What I really loved about our compensation plan when I got in is I looked one thing, like, how do I get to executive? I was like, wow. So if I don't help 5 people basically get to the level of success I'm at, I'll never make it higher. So take that as it is, but I think that's very powerful and a very good marketing tool, to be honest, for how different our business is from most of them that are in our industry. So let's move on and talk about the second leg of compensation. So now we've covered the weekly bonus side. You're repeating that one process over and over again, right? You're building teams. You're bringing people in yourself. You're helping those people bring people in, and you're doing everything in your power to make sure every one of those people gets the maximum amount of customers they can to trigger the highest payout, right? So read the flyer each and every month to see what that looks like. Again, go in each month. So like this flyer right here is going to end on the 29th of June. Ambit's great about this. By like 1 in the morning on the night of, that's going to turn over and there's going to be a new flyer up there. So go in, read the flyer. And I guess one last nugget on that, if you're wondering like how they determine which promotion you're in, understand it's by the day that the consultant joins the team. Because people get confused about that a lot. It's not the day that they receive customers or that they put customers through their website or Upline helps them, whatever. It's the day that the consultant joined. And so if you have people that are sitting on the fence and it's a really good promotion like this month, I would go pound the pavement. I would do a big group thing. I would get all those people in before the end of like a good promo like this, because next month, you don't know, it may not be as high again. So just another kind of tidbit for how to maximize everything and really get every dollar you can out of our compensation plan. And so once you've been working on your weekly bonuses, you'll start to accumulate residual income. And the residual income sometimes looks a little scary on paper, but I promise you it's quite simple. Really the only thing you have to understand here is what the levels mean. Levels are simply how many times removed somebody is from you and your organization. And so let me give an example. If I was to personally sponsor, I'm just gonna make up some names here. I'm gonna pick names from the chat. If I was to personally sponsor Cheryl and she became a consultant in my team, signed up right through my website, she would be on my level 1 right here. If Cheryl went down the line and she sponsored Grace, Grace would be on my level 2. So on and so forth. Grace goes and sponsors Matt, Matt's on my level 3. And what's really interesting about our residual plan is that the deeper you go in the plan, the further people are removed from you, the higher the residual pay is. It's really unique. And so while this doesn't maybe do you favors in your first month or two, because like, look here, you're going to start building your level 1 first, right? And you're building your level 1, you're getting 5 cents a month. You're like, whoopee, cool, John. Like, why are you so excited about this? That doesn't sound that awesome to me. I get it. Like that's not that exciting. No one's joining the business to make half $1 a month. I understand. But let's just follow a really easy model that Ambit gave us. This is right from our Ambit business presentation. And they follow the example of 3 and 3. Meaning that if everyone that came into the organization brought 3 new consultants in, and each of those consultants, all they did was get the minimum bonus of getting the 3 customers, right? Let's back up and look at that. So all they're doing is this one right here, just that base bonus. If they do that, sorry, skipped over that. If they do that, then you'll see that there'd be 3 consultants, 9 customers. And just watch the math repeat. 3 becomes 9, 9 becomes 27 as duplication happens, and watch this customer count here just grow. This customer count is growing like crazy, right? Well, notice what else is growing. Here's the amount of money that you're actually getting paid per customer. So this is what's crazy. The people that are on your level 1 and 2, you probably know them, right? Those are your friends, people, whether you met them online or went and talked to them in person. They're people that you have a relationship with. And then the people they bring in, you probably have a relationship with too, and maybe the people they bring in. By the time you get down here, you're going to have like a business relationship with them. Of course, you're going to be helping them if you're their upline. You should be. But these are people coming in from places you don't even know. And for those of you that haven't like quite hit the tipping point yet, I want to say this, and I'm not saying this to beat my chest and act like I'm really cool or whatever the case is, but it's really awesome to see when consultants just start flying in that you don't even know where it's coming from. You get the text later from one of your people like, oh, I got 4 new people to join today. And like, you didn't even know what was happening. When you first start your business, I think we've all been there, everything that's going on, every customer, every consultant, because you're out there and you eventually hit this tipping point where things will start happening you don't even know about. Your customer count will just start swelling. And that's where you start to see these numbers here. And you look down around level 5, next thing you know, that's $291 a month. Now you got a car payment, right? Your car payment no longer exists. You get down to level 6, that amount right there exceeds like the typical mortgage. Like that's like my house is paid for every single month. Like I don't have a mortgage anymore. And I just turned 30 years old and I have no mortgage essentially. I mean, that's crazy for working a business for less than 2 years. You get down to level 7 here, and this is kind of like the progression that I know a lot of the leaders are starting to make. It's like you get down to level 7, look at that number. I mean, that's a number that will change the entire course of your life. Right now, you're talking about, in this example of a simple 3 and 3 model, each person getting 3 people, each of them getting 3 customers. You repeat that down to 7 levels of depth, and you're looking at an annual income of close to over $120,000, purely passive, off of people just flipping the light switch on and paying their bill every month, right? Something that they're going to do anyways. They don't even think about the fact that they're putting money into Ambit Energy because they are used to paying their utility bill every month. It's not something that they're thinking about like, man, this bill is killing me. I'm going to have to turn it off. Like no one's turning their electricity off. That's probably the last thing to go if you're not paying bills. So this is what's really exciting about the business. And it's not the end of residual either. So we actually have a way to get additional residual and also to have it go beyond potentially the 7 levels. And that's in the other market model that we're discussing today. Each leadership code adds another 25 cents to each residual level. And so if you were a regional consultant, let's back up here, take any of these numbers. If you were a regional consultant and you had somebody here on your level 1, well, that 5 cents now becomes 30 cents per customer. Pretty big difference. If you were an executive consultant, you could add an entire 75 cents to this. Becomes very game changing. And what's absolutely crazy about this, if you need any proof if you understand the concept of leverage, any proof that leverage really exists in this company, when they pull the top income earners in Ambit, the very top, we're talking like the $1 million plus year earners, and they ask them what the largest component of their pay is, right? They're getting paid on all different things, all these different leadership codes, all these different residual levels. You know what they say the number 1 part of their pay is? This thing right here, these nationals and these executives, getting this extra $1 because it goes past the levels, right? They've duplicated these massive organizations with 30, 40, 50 levels in them, and they're still collecting this off all the customers. So, there could potentially be hundreds of thousands of customers that may not land in here, right? Because you only have 7 levels, but they'll land in one of these. And that's the power of leverage in this compensation model. And that's why if you're a marketing consultant, you're a regional, you're a senior, and you're working, just keep working towards these promotions because I promise you, they really will change your life. It's amazing for me to see what's happening in one day. I was just talking to someone on my team about this the other day. Every day now, I am seeing growth in my organization that replicates an entire 4 to 6 weeks only a year ago. And I was making a living off of this business a year ago, full time. And I'm seeing the kind of numbers come in now on a daily basis that summarize that in a month when you're talking about actual customers coming in. And so you just got to keep working at it. And I promise you will eventually reach that tipping point. Some days it feels like it's never going to happen. Definitely felt like that for me a lot, but you'll start to see it and that momentum builds, that snowball builds, and then all of a sudden it rolls so fast. It's just exciting to watch. And so just enjoy the ride and just keep working towards these leadership positions. And this residual income will really start to change. And so I created this on my own. This is completely just made up numbers, but I want to give you like just kind of an example, because a lot of people get bummed out early on because they get excited about the residual, and then they get 3 months into the business and then they get like their first residual check and it's $30. I think that's what mine was, like $27. And you're kind of bummed out because you got these big ideas. You're used to looking at this right here, and you start to get these numbers in your head, and then your first check shows up and it looks like that, right? And then maybe the next couple look like this, and you're like, how am I ever going to get to this? This is moving slow. Trust me, it starts to happen, but it happens over time. And this is why the weekly bonuses exist. Early on in Ambit, your weekly pay will make and break your business. It's what you should be focusing on. Your weekly pay in year one, for me, I kind of just looked at my own numbers. I'm not trying to throw around like income numbers or anything here, you guys, just giving like a percentage kind of breakdown idea. About 95% of my income in my first year was from my weekly bonuses. My residual income was nothing much to talk about. I was starting to build my organization. I only had maybe 4 levels or so built, 3 or 4 levels. And so I wasn't getting to those good payouts yet. I wasn't getting to the customer count I needed, any of that. And so that's what it looked like in the first year. I did well in the business, but my residual was not a big part of it. Well, now as I'm kind of wrapping up my second year, heading into my third one, this is about how it looks for me now. It's about 70-30. My residual has grown substantially. I can share now at not quite 2 years in the business yet, but right now, my residual, I love to look at it as what bills do I no longer pay. That's kind of how I gauge residual. And right now, my mortgage, my car payment, my wife's car payment, and our car insurance are covered by residual income. It's like the bulk of the bills in our life no longer exist. But that's not enough to get you excited about building the business. I don't know what is, because every day I kind of like pinch myself on that, because just 2 years ago when I was a CPA working like 100 hours a week, just trying to make like $50,000 a year, and just, I mean, really just being beat down, just hoping one day I'd get that promotion that I kept being promised. It's amazing to think like what happened in just 2 years of doing this versus what they gave me as like a 10-year career path for something that I went to school for 5 years and passed a certified public accountancy exam for. It's truly amazing. And as you get down into these final years here, I mean, you can see it, you kind of get it by now. The residual slowly becomes a larger portion of your pay as you build a more mature business. And that's where you don't have to hustle as much anymore, and you can become a leader for your team. You're not having to be out there pounding the pavement as much. And so really, what I'm telling you is if you're second guessing if you're ever going to get the momentum, I'm just trying to tell you to keep going. Give the business time to do what it does and to grow and to get that snowball rolling. You will find leadership, and you will find people to run with you. And that's really what I hope I can get across today. And so I guess right now that kind of wraps up compensation.
Well, the one thing I want to reiterate is what you said about whoever is in your leadership codes stays there. Nothing goes backwards. So just a tidbit, if you guys go into your power zone and you look at your leadership. So for some of you, I'm your regional, senior, and your executive. For some of you, it might be Matt Owsley is your regional, I'm your senior, and I'm your executive. Those things never change. So, when you go back and everybody kind of views this again, just keep that in mind. Like Jon said, nothing goes backwards in this business. Everything stays the same. What I want to ask Jon right now is, do you have any secrets for everybody about what drove your success?
Absolutely. I always come prepared for that. I like dropping some nuggets kind of at the end. So I actually, I got a slide that I made, and this is actually something that I've been teaching. I do a lot of online marketing for my business. And this is one of the things I've been teaching the MLM community. I run like a neutral type training program where I help train people regardless of which opportunity they're in. It's a great way that builds up leads for me, for people to actually join Ambit. And it's also a way that I can just kind of, I feel rewarded by helping other people succeed in their businesses. It's opened doors for me in a lot of ways, and I'm happy to kind of discuss that more afterwards too. But I've come up with a list of 5 things that I really think have been monumental for my business. And I'm totally open, by the way, after this, you guys. I don't want anyone to feel intimidated. If you disagree or just want to even kind of debate on any of these points, I love that kind of stuff. So if there's something in here that I talk about that you're like, I tried that and it doesn't work, I'd love to like chat about it, because I really do think like groupthink is awesome for this kind of stuff. Collaboration, is key when it comes to this. And so here are the 5 biggest secrets that I have found so far since running this business. And I really hammered this one earlier, but create leaders in your team. There's so many reasons to do this. And I've run into people, fortunately, none of which are in this room. I know there's awesome leadership in these teams, but I've run into leaders in other companies, and they've been hesitant to like push their people to promote, right? Because it affects their pay. And I think that that's the most foolish thing you can ever do, because when you create new leaders, it's going to excite them to get a promotion. Every time I promoted, and it was funny, I was trying to think earlier, I mentioned this. I said there were a couple of people that promoted like lightning fast in this room. Debbie was the one that I was thinking of. Debbie Gardner did, I don't know if anyone knows this, but she did senior consultant in 13 days, you guys. Senior consultant in 13 days. And so like, if you're thinking that, you know, that 18 number is monumental, trust me, you can do it. For me, I felt really good. I think mine was about 5 or 5.5 weeks. And so you can really, just because Ambit gives you 90 days, don't even take 90 days. Just go for it. Become a leader. And your upline will cheer you on. If you're part of Debbie's team and you're part of my team, we're going to cheer you on as you promote up, even if it means you hitting the same rank as us and, you know, kind of moving forward with your business. It's the best thing, because you're going to be excited just like we were. And then what are you going to do? Because of what we just talked about in the compensation plan, you're going to go build a new team, right? Your new rank does nothing for you if you don't go build a new team. And so how do you build up the residual income as a leader like myself and like Debbie? If I'm just kind of being transparent here and telling you guys, like, I like to just be like really open and honest, and what decisions I'm making as I'm, you know, kind of thinking out how to strategize. And for me, it's a no-brainer. You're going to go out and you're going to build a new team. I'm going to help you. And it's my residual income is going to keep building because of that, because we're going to keep getting new people in because you're at a new rank and you're excited. What other thing I found is, like, when part of my strategy in my team, I'll just be open and just share it. My strategy is just create a fleet of senior consultants. Like, that's what I try to do. I try to create as many senior consultant leaders as I can. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, because at that rank, like, that's when you step up and lead, because you're really able to make some good money. Not to say that you can't make good money at the other ranks, but like, it really is just in your favor at senior. And it also makes it so people step up and take some of the work off my plate. And so what I've found now by having this awesome team of seniors is I'm now able to work on the business instead of working in the business all the time. I don't have to help as much with every single customer that needs to sign up, or, you know, every single consultant that has last minute questions. Like, I got my seniors to do that now. So I've been blessed and able to spend a lot of time now out on social media. I've been working really hard on my podcast and on my new program, which is on Instagram, where I'm able to go out and do marketing for the benefit of my whole team. And I was never able to do that because I was so tied up working in the business, like out there, literally on, like, you know, boots on the ground. And that prevented me for a long time from being able to get to the long-term stuff. And so what I found was, by creating that other team of leaders and really supporting them, doing everything in my power to make sure that they succeed, whether it's truly just helping put money in their pocket, helping them with their advertising, whatever it is, do that, because that will free you up for your long-term business. And that's kind of like, if you want to have like an executive consultant kind of mindset as you're building, give back to your team, help them promote, and have a system that works in 2 ways. You need it to work for your runners and for your walkers, because you're going to have both. I'm a runner. I am like all business. Like, I love entrepreneurship, passionate about it. I hope you can tell by the way I talk about it. And for me, it's nothing to just work on this business like all the time. I truly love it. But other people are not in that same position. And it's not because maybe they don't have the drive or anything like that. It might just be because of where their life is. They may just not be able to commit a lot of time to the business. And you got to have a system for those people too. And that's what I would call a walker, somebody who has on a limited schedule, but they're giving it their all. And you want to have kind of a different path for both. So just think about, you know, what you're going to set them up with. So for example, in my team, we do, I teach a lot of different online marketing. I should have shared this at the beginning. Those of you who don't know me, I'm in a closed state for Ambit. I cannot sell locally. 90, probably 5% of my team cannot sell locally either. We've built One of the faster growing businesses right now, I know the team that's in here has one of the other ones. We've done that without being able to sell locally. And because of that, we had to do things a little differently. And where I'm really, I guess, going with that is I had to have a different system for the people who were working like full-time and really running versus the people who are working part-time. And so whether I'm teaching somebody that has an hour a week, I'm not going to be telling them to go start a podcast and start an Instagram page and do online automation stuff that I teach in my podcast. Like they're just going to eat up all their time and they're never going to get people in their business, right? I'm going to teach them how to do some more basic stuff, plug into the things that I already have existing in my team, and just utilize the system. But my runners that I have that are full-time with me, I got a few of them now, I've got them out there building Facebook brands, building Instagram brands, starting podcasts, YouTube channels, like things that are time consuming, but are bringing them leads for their business. And so just have an idea. You don't have to mimic that. There's a lot of different ways to do this, and your upline will have awesome ideas for how to do it. We all found things that work differently for us, but have like a strategy for each one, because you don't want to abandon all of your walkers, your part-time people, because they are going to be the bulk of your organization. You don't want to get frustrated and abandon those people whatsoever. And so create leaders. I spent like a solid 5 minutes on that because that's how important it is. The second one, and I've learned a lot of this from this coaching and all this different stuff I've done this last year. And that's build, and notice I put in caps cult, which I know has a negative meaning, but bear with me here. Build a culture around your team. And the way that you do that is, I would say, remember the 3 R's. I would remember rituals, recognition, rewards. I know in here, we got the Hoosier line in here. I think we got some people from Ambit Autopilots. We've got the 5-Star Power team, which is my team, and maybe some others too. If I missed yours, I apologize. But each of us, I know, has our own Facebook group, right? That's a big thing in network marketing. We do that for a reason. It's to, one, make everything private and unique for us, but it's to build out our rituals, our recognition, and our rewards, right? What are our rituals? Like the rituals might be our weekly trainings. Like I do a webinar each week to help everyone bring new people into the business. That would be a ritual. Recognition, when everyone promotes, right? We give them a shout out. We make them feel good. Tell them good job for what they did. And rewards, like sometimes I'll do contests in my group where I'll like give out a couple customers, like if we can go do something really cool, like set some goals, right? I've been on business calls with other teams where like someone even gave out like a vacation voucher or something for hitting a really tough hit goal. Just cool things to keep people engaged and learning the business and feeling loyal to the group, something that makes them come back and check that page every day. Staying plugged into this business is everything. You guys, when people start not showing up for weeks, that's when they fall off. It's a lot easier to not work your business than to work it, right? I think we all know that. The third one I say is have a coach, get a coach and be a coach. Always have someone there to mentor you. Like this is really important. Like even national consultants, I believe, should have a coach, someone mentoring them. You got to have someone to check you, to keep you motivated and engaged. And don't think that has to be someone that's necessarily like above your quote unquote status level either. Like if you have if there's a marketing consultant in your organization that's an awesome motivator and they have some great skills, there's nothing wrong with an executive consultant having like a marketing consultant basically be their inspiration and their coach. Like there's a lot of ways you guys can do this. So don't always think it has to be like your upline. You can go outside of Ambit to find this. And whether you pay someone to do it or whether you find someone to just get into like an inner circle group, or you can do it for free. I'm in a lot of those groups. I just joined one yesterday, Lewis House. Really like him. For anyone who knows him, inspirational guy. I joined his inner circle for Instagram to learn more about that. And I can get on these like calls with them every month and a lot of cool stuff. So I always invest in people coaching me. It keeps me on point, and it makes it so someone's out there checking me. Because once you reach like a leadership position, otherwise, sometimes people really don't check you. And that's not a good thing. Like I know it might sound good, but it's not the best thing long-term for your business. And then the second aspect is obviously to be a coach yourself. You should be a coach. You should be teaching everything you learn. When you learn something new, I think about 2 things. How am I going to use this? And how am I going to teach it to somebody else? If you master that, you will be an amazing coach. And that's really enough to even say on that. You should be thinking, how do I repurpose these awesome things I'm learning to help other people be successful? And 4 and 5 are things that I've been doing. And this is why my business has really, really exploded in the last 6 months. And I'm really passionate about this. And for those of you who really want to go out there and get it, I really am challenging you to something. Publish content and utilize social media. And I want to give you some tips on how to do that. And I've got a couple people on my team that are much better at this even than I am. Publish content utilizing social media. So content publishing, that could be like a podcast, YouTube video series. You could have a blog on a website. Could just be doing like a daily routine, like posts on Facebook or Instagram. You could be on LinkedIn. And the idea is you're going to give away a ton of value and you're going to keep it company neutral. And this is where I see so many people out there making mistakes. It's always Ambit, 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 Ambit. Join my Ambit team. Ambit's rates are awesome, this and this. There's a time and a place for that. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. But what I am saying is if you want to build a brand and a following, you have to really challenge yourself to be able to give out value that doesn't tie to your company. Because at the end of the day, people don't join Ambit, right? They join you. They join the Hoosier line. They join the 5-star power team. They join Ambit autopilots. They join because the resources around them, they're not looking for an opportunity. They're looking for someone to show them how to make money, right? And show them how to be part of a community and learn new things, whatever their goal is. But a compensation plan doesn't do that for them, right? An energy account doesn't do that for them. Someone mentoring them and teaching them things they can use that bring value not only for their Ambit business, but anything else they do for the rest of their life. And this is also a great way to attract people to you, where then you can talk to them in private conversations, and that's where you can prospect. And so rather than posting online about like, hey, come attend like the business presentation, like I'm talking like open post to you guys. Like there's nothing wrong with posting this stuff in a private group, but I advise my team, like, don't just drop that all over your like personal Facebook profile where everyone can see it, because people have so many misconceptions and skepticism about this business, and it's not giving you the chance to connect with them and talk them through it and get rid of those false beliefs they have in their head. But this has been vital to my business. And the last one, please, you guys, be consistent. I talked about staying plugged in. The best strategies are usually the ones, believe it or not, that they don't cost that much money. They just take a lot of time. They don't work today, but if you're consistent, they'll explode in the future. So weeks, months, things like a Facebook strategy where you're cleaning up your profile and posting a lot, Instagram, building a following without asking for anything in return, right? It's hard to do, but that slow approach is what will build your credibility. And then you will be able to cash in for years on people coming to you, asking you what you do. I just got one of the best recruits I've ever had without even telling them what business I was in until they approached me. And so that's how I know that this works. And I promise. And so if there's things like that you want to learn, they are not a replacement for what you are currently doing. I do not want to take anyone off track with what your current business plan is. This is something that you can put on top to help you build your marketing for the future. And so those are my 5. I hope that helps. I really actually put a lot of thought into that, so I spent a lot of time on it. But I had about 10 things written down, and these were the 5 that just jumped out at me that just really have changed everything for my business. And so I'll kind of leave it on this last screen while we go to question and answer here. Here's how you guys can connect with me if you want any of this stuff for free. Right now, I'm kind of doing it through 2 channels. My podcast is called MLM Automation Radio. That's on iTunes, Stitcher, all those different places. You can just go to my website, mlmautomationradio.com. And there's a couple hours of free training too on there. All you have to do is just put in your email address. And like I said, I don't try to sell you anything. So you just get the trainings through email after. So that's the podcast. I talk about unique online strategies, automation, things like that. For anyone who's ever heard of like the sales funnel environment out there, if anyone's ever run across that, I teach that. I learned a lot of really cool things on that this year. And then the second one I'm starting, I call it Insta MLM Hacks. And that is Instagram right now is growing like crazy. And there's a really cool and unique strategy for growing that content, which you can eventually use to build your presence to get more people into your business. For right now, if you want, you can just follow me. It's Jon Drew Live, really easy. And just send me a direct message. That way I know it's you and I'll follow you back for sure. I'll follow you back and I'll like a few of your posts. I'll show you some love. And yeah, so if you guys want to connect with me outside of this, that's a great place to do it.
Hi, right. This is Grace in Wisconsin with my daughter Hannah. And
hey,
Hannah,
Grace.
Hi, thank you so much. This has been great. Hannah got a little, and I both got a little confused when you were talking about the day that the consultant joins the promotion. This is maybe a minor question, but that's the promotion they're in. Even if they join on the last day of the promotion, say for this current one, it would be June 29th.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, if we understand correctly, then they have the 28 days to get that jumpstart bonus.
Yes.
Then what happens if they miss the, it takes longer than the 28 days for them to get those 3 customers? Say it's an other market situation.
So if they go past the 28 days, then it would not trigger that first bonus. So it just wouldn't trigger that jumpstart bonus. So that's why it is really important to have that done during the 28 days. And afterwards, it basically, they can go on and build their business, right? And they can start earning team builder bonuses, bringing other people in. But yeah, that first bonus for both them and then for their upline wouldn't end up happening if they miss the 28 days. So that is really important. But all of us are obviously here to help. Your upline is here to help with that too. So usually, as long as they get close, we can help. I don't want to speak for anybody, but we try our best.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much. That's very helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Didn't see Nichole's Facebook Live on Saturday. Go watch it on Ambit Autopilots. It is awesome. And I believe I shared it out on Hoosier Line as well.
Yes. Yeah, check that out, you guys. That's actually what I was referring to earlier.
It's very, very informative. I've actually been working on the same sort of thing from Sherelle Slays, but yours was very to the point. It was just awesome. Thank you.
That's actually how Nichole and I connected originally, was because she was getting so much engagement on her professional makeup artistry videos on Facebook. That's how we started talking. I just asked her if she wanted to collaborate for like a podcast episode and teach my podcast audience that, because I know like we all want that, like more engagement to get people interested in what we're doing. And she obviously had some stuff figured out. So that's actually how we kind of connected in the first place, which is really cool.
So is Nichole a consultant?
Proves it works. She is. Yep. She's part of my team.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
So that's been really good. Her primary profession is obviously professional makeup artistry, but that's just kind of, to me, like proves out like the system works. People can really help each other. We had no intention of really working together. At first it was just pure collaboration. And so that's kind of my 2 cents out of doing the value-based marketing. Right. Is when you reach out to people that way, you don't know what doors are going to open. So even though it doesn't mean they're going to join your business that day, which I understand is like, it's hard to wait on that kind of stuff, good things can happen. Like even if they don't join your business, they might refer you people. They might collaborate with you on a project that like blows things out of the water. Just really cool. So that's obviously been great. Grace asked, is it worth learning the nitty-gritty of how the company funds the residual?
No.
No, it's not. I just have an understanding of why it pays out. That's all. Like that's as far as you need to go. It's an energy company. When the customer pays their bill, then the residual pays out, right? And they determine obviously how that works, how much. But that's all you really need to know as far as that goes.
And I will tell you from another numbers guru, Matt LaPalme, said that overall, if you look at all the bonuses that are paid out and residual, Ambit only pays 7% in commission. So if you compare that to a car salesperson or something like that, it's nothing. And I personally have done tons of MLMs to basically get the discount. I've never built one. And they're all like 30, 40, 50% commission. So
yeah,
just
it's absolutely true
that Ambit pays us. Don't worry about the nitty-gritties.
Yep, absolutely. It gets paid and it does grow. It's it really does happen. It's weird how it happens, but right when you start forgetting about it is when all of a sudden it starts blowing up, like the residual income side of things, which is really cool.
All of a sudden,
summertime,
it's amazing.
Yep, and it's summertime. Like right now, I have a pretty big business in Texas, and I was looking last month at the weather, and it showed like 105 every day in Dallas, and I was like, all right, I was about to get up and start dancing. Like we're gonna have some good residual checks coming up here. So yeah, you guys will really enjoy the residual income as it grows. And the nice thing is, like I said, you truly do not need to rely on it one bit. It's like an added incentive when it gets there. You can be fully financially independent on the weekly bonuses. I could be totally fine in this business right now without getting any residual. So the fact that I am just makes it that much better. And hopefully that kind of illustrates that.
I have to just make another comment just based on what you said about the heat in Texas. I was having my hair done the other day by a young lady that came from North Dakota and was complaining about how she shared a house with 5 girls, and their winter bill, because it was way below zero, was like, I don't know, she said they each paid like $180 a month between the 5 of them. It was an old drafty house. And I was sitting there thinking, oh, I wonder when Ambit is going to,
I know.
Rates are going to be deregulated.
I wonder that every day. I'm like, oh. I'm in Michigan, and I look at my energy bill. I never looked at it until I started this business, really, but I'm paying 16.7 cents per kilowatt hour. And if you drive 45 minutes to Toledo, Ohio, it's a sister company. We have Detroit Edison. They have Toledo Edison. You drive 45 minutes there, and Ambit's out there, and they're paying 9 cents all in. That's Ambit and the delivery company all included. 9 cents, like almost half. So that's crazy. But yep.
I'm not gonna look at my bill. I don't want to know.
I know. It's like, it's painful when you realize like what it could be. And hopefully though, that just shows that they'll come around to doing it. Because that's what a lot of the states are arguing, is that they don't think it's really better for the customer. But like, that's just complete BS, right? Like, it is better for the customer to have, I'm not even talking just Ambit, I'm talking just competitive pricing, like deregulation is a good thing for. Well, I think that's it. So I don't know, Debbie, if you want to give kind of like a send us off here, if you got any announcements for your team or whatever.
Thank you so much for all of your knowledge and your help tonight, Jon. And
absolutely.
Both
as well.
Deborah, thank you to you too. It's wonderful that you pulled this together for all of us. It's great. Thank you so much.
Always just attend everything you can with Ambit. Stay plugged in, even if it's just getting on a presentation once a week. And we do them 2 to 3 times a week. And Jon, your team's welcome to jump on ours. I know there's one at 8:30 tonight with Team 526, and I'm starting to think, we should just plug everybody into whatever's going on. Just
agreed.
If you have a prospect, get them online at one of these presentations.
Yeah, don't wait around for when you can get them to yours. I actually do agree with that. Like, if I schedule your own thing that you like, and try to drive as much to it as you can, but the people who can't make it to that, get them onto whatever you can, because the worst thing you can do is ice like a prospect, because it's how it is. When we're in a mode that we want to do something, that's when we have to start. Otherwise, I think everyone knows that you lose interest and you missed out on a great opportunity. And I just want to double down one more time on the ambition. Like, that's like the very honest truth. Like, even if like the conferences aren't your thing, I'm not here to like be like a company, like toe the company line and say like you should attend all 4 days and do every single event. But what I am telling you is, if you plan on doing any business with Ambit in the second half of the year here, you gotta get a ticket, and 2, you gotta go. It truly, even if you fly down there, I flew down there last year. I got a Spirit flight, and I got it for like $120. I traveled light. I was all in and out of Ambition probably for less than $500, like including a couple hotel rooms. And one bonus made that all back. One consultant that I sponsored, which was literally the same day, and I was already in the money. You definitely want to go, no matter what your thought is on, events, conferences. Either way, just go, plug in with your team, and use the opportunity to network. You would be surprised at what doors can open, even though the people there are already in the business. Don't write it off just because all the people there can't join your downline. There are other things that you can collaborate on. Just someone that'll be there to take a call with one of your people in the future or whatever. Like on the 5-star trip, I made all these connections but I reached out to like 5-star trip, and they all, with like 30 seconds after my text, yeah, I'm in. I mean, these are people with 10,000 plus downlines, right? Like, I can get so much information from that in 2 seconds versus how many hours that would have taken on my own, to get that around in the company. But that's what having relationships with other consultants can do. So I guess that I'm going to leave it on that. That'll be my closing remark for the night, is network, but also network inside of Ambit Energy. Don't just network outside. I think a lot of people think that because someone's in their cross line, the way Debbie and I are, or someone is just in Ambit in a different team and, well, they can't be in my downline, so there's no purpose for me to like really spend much time with them. Figure out ways you can help each other, collaborate. It's been a game changer for me. It's one of the only ways I've survived being in Michigan, to be honest. And I think now we're doing more than surviving. We're obviously flourishing, and that's a large part and due to like meeting other influential people in the company and running joint programs like we're doing right now. Much better than Debbie having to do 10 trainings by herself and prepare 10 decks of slides. Like that would have taken away a ton from her own business, but because she's made good relationships and been a good supporter with other teams like my own, then all of us are ready to jump on here, right? And help out. And I think that's, I guess, the best evidence of how that works.
Right.
So I hope you guys kind of consider that and definitely get registered, go to that. Let's just knock it out.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us.
Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right. Everybody have a good night.
Thanks, you guys. See you later.
Have a good night.